Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into what is honestly one of the most fascinating topics in theology. We're building a definitive study guide all about Mary, the Mother of God. So whether you're trying to organize your notes for a class or, you just want a really clear breakdown of her unique role in the Catholic faith, you are in the exact right place. We're going to look closely at exactly how the Catholic Church views her importance when it comes to the work of salvation.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. First up, honoring versus worshiping Mary. Then we'll look at her role as the ultimate spiritual mediator. After that, we dive into how she's a model of discipleship. And finally, we'll wrap up with her charity at the wedding feast.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, honoring, not worshiping Mary. We're tackling the biggest misconception right out of the gate.
Because let's be real, this is the burning question, isn't it? Do Catholics worship Mary? Whenever we start looking at her role in the church, we absolutely have to answer this directly. It is, without a doubt, the most common point of confusion out there.
And the answer is a hard no. Only God is worshipped. The crucial point to remember here, and definitely jot this down for your notes, is that Mary is highly, highly honored as the human mother of Jesus Christ, God the Son. But worship, that is reserved exclusively for God. That distinction is literally the foundation for understanding everything else we're going to talk about. Because she was chosen for this incredible role, Catholics hold her in incredibly high esteem for sure, but that honor never, ever crosses the line into actual worship. That belongs to God alone.
Now look at the stark difference here. On one hand, you have praying directly to God. That involves direct worship and the belief that God himself directly answers those prayers. But on the other hand, you have praying through Mary. This is totally different. This is asking her to intercede. Catholics aren't praying to her expecting her to miraculously answer the prayer herself. Actually, it's more like they believe she has such a uniquely special relationship with God that she'll go to him and plead on their behalf. Which brings us to section 2, the ultimate spiritual mediator. Let's look at how Catholics actually interact with Mary in practice. So, if she doesn't answer prayers directly, what exactly is her operational role? Well, she acts as a mediator or an intercessor. Think of it like, imagine you need a huge favor at work. It's like asking a highly respected mutual friend to put in a good word for you with the big boss. Your mutual friend doesn't actually grant your requests, right? But their relationship with the boss absolutely helps your case. Mary uses her remarkably special relationship with God to intercede for believers. They ask her to step in, knowing full well she'll take those prayers straight to the top.
And what's super fascinating to me is how Catholics visualize this whole intercession thing in real life. If you go into a Catholic church, you might see someone light a special candle, called a votive candle, and place it on a designated stand right by a statue of Mary. This isn't just, setting a mood or decorating the church. It serves as a tangible, physical symbol of their prayer. It's literally a physical marker left behind to say, hey, I'm asking you to pray for me. Moving right along to section 3, a model of discipleship. Here we'll see her perfect faith and dedication. In Catholic theology, she isn't just viewed as a helpful intercessor, she's seen as the absolute greatest example of true discipleship. The theology is crystal clear on this. Her life is basically the blueprint. She acts as the ultimate role model, a true guide for exactly how Christians should serve God. She's definitely not just a figurehead. Her entire life literally embodies what it means to be a faithful Catholic. So if you're going to remember one major takeaway for your studies regarding her discipleship, let it be these 3 perfect examples of faith. First off, she showed total dedication right from the get-go. She joyfully and willingly accepted the angel's message that she was going to be the mother of the Christ. Talk about a life-altering moment. Second, she had this absolute, unquestioning faith in God. Think about it. She didn't second-guess him when told she would have a child, even though she was a virgin. And finally, her dedication didn't waver when things got unbelievably difficult. At the very end, she didn't desert her son. She was one of his very few followers to stay right there with him, all the way to the foot of the cross. That, right there, is what total faith looks like in this theological framework. Okay, on to our final section. Section 4, charity at the wedding. Let's talk about the first miracle at Cana. To really see how her immense faith translates into total self-giving and charity, we have to look at this mini-narrative at the wedding feast at Cana. It perfectly encapsulates her role as a model of Christian charity. So picture this. Step 1, the celebration completely runs out of wine. Back then, that wasn't just an oops, it was a major social disaster for the hosts. Step 2, Mary immediately spots the problem. She puts the needs of others first, and because she knows exactly what Jesus is capable of, she proactively steps in and asks her son to help.
And then step 3, Jesus listens to his mother. This results in his very first miracle, turning water into wine. She didn't hesitate, she saw a real need, and she acted on it.
And honestly, this right here is the anchor point for the entire theological concept we've been talking about today. This specific event at Cana is exactly why Catholics still pray through Mary today. Why? Because it proves that Jesus listens to his mother and fulfills her requests. It also proves that Mary consistently puts the needs of others ahead of her own. It's like the whole concept of her being the ultimate mediator, tied perfectly together with a bow. As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to chew on. By shifting our lens, moving away from this misconception of worship, and looking at her as the ultimate intercessor, a supreme model of discipleship, and a true example of charity, how does her unique role change your perspective on her power in the Catholic faith? I highly encourage you to keep reviewing these specific models of faith and service as you push forward in your theological studies. Thank you so much for joining me for this breakdown. Keep questioning, keep analyzing, and definitely keep learning. See you next time.